Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chicks and Salsa. And we have a special guest tonight, so it's not just chicks. We have you're going to be the salsa of tonight. How's that?
I'm totally good for that.
Great. Well, first of all, Jen, how are you doing?
I am well. How are you this evening, Candy?
I am doing good. We want to do a shout out. We are going to say prayers for Carrie and her family. They're going through some issues and some things. So she will not be with us tonight. And Megan is actually working. So hopefully she'll be back with us next week. But we have a special guest on tonight, and his name is Joel Franko. And Joel, you're no stranger to me because we've done shows together on South Florida Tribune, but this is the first time coming on Chicks and Salsa. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, and I'm honored to be here.
We are honored that you are here with us. I'm going to give you the floor a little bit. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about yourself and then a little bit about the organization that we're going to be talking about tonight.
Well, thank you. So again, thank you so much for having me. I am a filmmaker by trade, and one of the ways that we got into starting our nonprofit, Where Our Children Play, as you can see from the link below, was because we started making a documentary film on youth sports and how to bring the focus back on the kids from an adult-centered world and environment and bringing it back to the kids. As we are wrapping the film, we're finishing editing, hopefully soon. Never as fast as we want it, but it's coming together and we're very happy how it's looking. We realized that one of the things that we wanted to do was to change how things are. And we immediately kind of caught a glimpse of the fact that if we just do the movie, we may not be able to do that. We may be very successful, whatever, and fingers crossed. But we knew that it's, just the movie's not going to do it. So we wanted to put our money where our mouth is. And that's why we started a nonprofit, and to really get in there, get in the communities, and try to make change for the better.
Awesome.
That's amazing. Because when Candy was telling us about you, I also, before I started reading your website, I also just automatically went to like how a lot of parents dictate children's athletics. Like so I was actually born in a small town in North Carolina, Hickory. It's also the furniture capital of the world. But my dad will tell you stories from the 70s when my brother was playing in little leagues there. He was like, those parents were just way too much. And
Still is.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting.
Really. No, you didn't interrupt at all. It's exactly the reason why we're doing this. I mean, it still is that way.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed one bit. If anything, is worse.
Oh, I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
So Joel, tell us about when did you start Where Our Children Play? Like, when did that concept come to fruition, and then what does it all entail right now?
Yeah, so we started really working on Where Our Children Play in the last couple of years. We became an official 501c3 this past October, November. So we're really, it's funny, we've been doing this for 2 years, but we're also at the beginning of everything that we're trying to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some patience. It's going to take some ups and downs, like anything in life. But the beautiful part of what we're trying to do is we're trying to do three things, as Candy knows. One of the things we're doing is we have created a training program, an individual training program for kids. And this goes back to what you just mentioned, Jen. This is the whole point of the training program is it is child-centric, meaning we create a program according to a child needs, whatever it is that they need, for whatever the sport that they play. We're talking, by the way, high school and below for ages at the moment. So like 10-ish to 18, something like that.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, we can do it for older kids too, but we're trying to focus with the younger kids at the moment. And the idea is that because it's child-centric, it's the child that decides not only to do it, but it's a child that has to be active in doing it. And by that, we mean once we create the program, the child has to tell us, it's too easy, it's too hard. I don't like this exercise. Can I do another one? Which is perfectly logical questions. And that's
Sure.
that's what we do. Well, my Shalane Miller, my partner, does. She makes the changes, she adjusts it. And the reason we do it that way is because we want the kids to own their exercises, to own their practice, to own what they're doing, because that's life later. It's a great way to learn how to value yourself and to understand, hey, these things I can do, these things I cannot do. And so now let's work around it, just like you do in any job that we will have, or at school, or wherever you're going to do. And we have found that when we do it, and the way we do it, the way she does it, which is why I love working with her, is because we explain things to them. We don't tell them what to do. We say, hey, these are the things you should be doing. These are the reasons why you should be doing them. Let's talk about it. And we focus a lot on their schedule, because kids today, in general, not just athletes, are way overscheduled. I mean, it's insane. It's like, I don't think the president of the United States has a schedule that tight as the kids have today. It's insane.
Yeah.
And because of that, we need to be conscious of that, and we need to talk to the kids. Hey, what is your schedule? Because so many kids are going to bed like at 11 o'clock at night or worse. And then in Las Vegas, where I am right now, kids go to school at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you go to bed at 11, 7 a.m. comes real fast, and kids are drained, dead out. And so, and the whole point of what we're trying to do is not just physical, but it's also nutritional, meaning we help kids develop a better eating habit. And again, in a way that we teach them what they're doing, not by just telling them don't have ice cream, because that's never going to work. But why not don't have pizza before a game? Have pizza after, but not before. For example, it's like one of those things. But if you just tell a kid, well, an adult too, don't have a donut, or don't have pizza, or all those goodies, don't have chocolate, whatever it is, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever, I don't want to do that. But if you explain it to them, like, hey, it's not about the chocolate or the pizza, it's when you have it that is the problem. Now, obviously, you shouldn't be having pizza every day. That's not exactly the healthiest of things. But having pizza one time is not a big deal.
Right.
It's having pizza or a donut or a cheeseburger at the wrong time that is going to affect your performance, whether it's practice or a game. And we've had comments like that where we had kids tell us, oh my God, now I understand what you were talking about. And then they change it, but it's something that they had to recognize. It wasn't something that we had to force on them. They had to understand it. And then the third aspect of the program is the mental part. So Shalane is in touch with them. I mean, I cannot say every day because things happen, but regularly during the week when we have kids. And the idea of that is to keep track of what's happening. Because kids tend to listen to coaches more than they listen to their parents. It's always been like that. It's normal, totally understandable. It's easier sometimes to talk to a stranger than it is to talk to your parents. You're afraid of your parents sometimes, right? And the idea is exactly that, because I'm a coach too. So we understand what they're going through. So when they talk to us, it's different. And we can kind of go the back way. And in doing that, then we bring the parents in, because no child can function by themselves.
Right.
You have to have, I never understand when sports clubs or organizations, they have like this obsession against parents. And it's like most parents that I have met are great people. They're
They
trying
just
to
want the
do
best for their kids.
exactly. And most of the times they don't know they're doing something wrong.
Right.
They're trying to compete in a world that they think is having their child behind. And they don't realize that they're not doing that. But if we don't show them how to talk to each other, it's never going to work. Again, it goes back to the same thing. It's like when you talk to your boss, if you tell your boss to, fight it, not going to work. But if you talk to your boss, maybe it's not going to get you what you want anyway, but at least you have a conversation.
Exactly.
You're trying to find a base, right? And that's what we're trying to do, to bring everybody together so that the kid, though, is still at the center. And the kid is dictating what he or she is doing. So that's the first thing we're doing. And, we are creating camps that we're hoping to launch as soon as we can. But we want to do it right. And the beauty of it, we're trying to do this both here in the United States and abroad. So we have a lot that we're juggling right now because it's, I'd like to, I wish I could say this was only an American problem because then it's easier to fix because it's just in one place. No, unfortunately, not the case. It's a world problem, which makes it a lot harder.
I actually think American might not be the worst at that.
Well, we have the problem with the money here. The biggest issue with American youth sports is money. And it's insane. I mean, the cost to a family is beyond comprehension. It makes no sense. I mean, except for the pockets of the people who run the show. So we want to create these environments where that's not a problem. Where parents can go, oh, wait, you can spend a lot less and you can do all of this? That's amazing. Then that's the hope, right?
Right.
And the other thing that we're trying to do, this is our long-term dream, is to create what used to be community centers, like old school community centers, where, but obviously updated, in a way where you can have an area where kids train, whatever, an area where kids can get some school help, some tutoring, some advice, some counseling, some direction, because so many kids, and I coach high school right now. I went back to coaching high school girls soccer. And what always stuns me is how little information these girls, and boys, unfortunately, get. Like, they don't even know how to fix their grades. They don't even know that they can retake a test. They don't even know what the rules are. And like, oh crap, if I get a B or a D or a C or an F, I can't go to college. So there's a lot of things that they don't even know how to do. Or, hey, you have counseling, you have help. People can help you retake the test or study or whatever it is. And then the third part of the community center that we want is an area for parents. An area for parents where parents can go and talk. Because one of the biggest things, being a parent as well, it's like you never have a chance to talk to other parents in a real way. It's always about, but at least that's how I feel. It always feels like it's competition, and I could care less. It's like, because first of all, there's not one team in the world that we all are trying to get into, right? There's a million teams out there. Maybe not everybody's going to be an NBA champion or NHL champion or whatever. Of course not. There's only a few teams to make that. But there are other ways that you can contribute to play and get there. Not everybody's going to be a quarterback at USC or whatever, Michigan, or whatever it is. So what? You can be a quarterback at another school, right?
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of it. Is like parents need to be able to talk to each other, where we can share. Oh my God! It's like, can you believe how expensive this is? Instead of saying, oh yeah, I can pay for $5,000 every week, no problem. And then those parents are going to a fifth mortgage, right? I mean, we need to have parents relax and be able to share information where they can go and say, oh my God, I'm not the only one going through this.
Yeah.
Because that's like the biggest thing to me. Like when I talk to parents as a coach or as a dad, it's like we are all in this together.
Right.
And that's the part where so many people don't understand. And it's like parents are like kind of like this. I don't want to say, I don't want to admit that I don't have any money, because if I don't have any money to pay, and who does? I mean, these prices are insane.
Mhm.
And if you have more than one kid, it's even worse.
Well, like the Kelseys, mom and dad Kelsey stayed together even after they divorced so they could afford for Jason and Travis to continue to play football.
Yep.
And football is not cheap.
No. And they were divorced. Like, that is love for their kids.
Right. And
I mean,
support.
that's what you do, and support.
Yeah.
That's a perfect. You got to support the kids. I mean, we're all doing it for the kids. I mean, that's the thing, right? We should all be doing it for the kids, and
Right.
we should ask our kids all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do it? Are you okay? Do you need a break? I mean, some of the interviews we had in our movie were heartbreaking because of that reason. You know, we talked to a mom that told us that she didn't realize that her own daughter was about to, you know, unfortunately turn very, very dark. Until finally she was able to get her daughter to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And when finally the daughter had the courage to tell her mom, and not because the mom was being a bad mom, but she didn't know.
Right.
And isn't like our worst nightmare? It's like you don't know.
Yeah.
And the kids think that they cannot come to you and talk to you. I mean, that's like my biggest nightmare. And so for her to realize, oh my God, my daughter is telling me she cannot play anymore, because if not, bad things will happen. No more. And they stop playing.
Yeah.
Now a year, I forget now if it was a year or two later, the girl is back to playing because now she wants to play.
Right. She needed a break.
She needed a break. But how many parents are like that have lost kids, and they ask themselves that question: why didn't you tell me, even though obviously it's too late?
And
I mean, that's the
I was
thing to
very
me.
fortunate. I was an athlete growing up, and I was allowed to tell my parents when I did take a break. Honestly, I regret taking a break when I did, but I still took the break. But in a way, I'm glad I did, but I don't have a lot of regrets. Like, and I truly don't. I have like 3 regrets in my life. That's one of them, that I took that break. I wish I had not. But
You
to
didn't know
each
that
their
then.
own.
But at that time, you needed that break, and if you
Right.
hadn't, you don't know what would have happened. And that's the thing that is the hardest thing. It's like we got to be able to take a break when we need to.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to have the support of our families. But that's the thing, right? Because then the coaches turn on you, your teammates turn on you, and then you feel horrible. And,
Well, and I was lucky because my coach supported me in it, actually, because she knew my particular circumstances. Like, my parents weren't divorced or anything like that. I was just, like you said at the beginning, I was overextended. And so, because I was going to 2 schools a day, and not a lot of kids do that. I was in student government. I was a competitive swimmer. I was also swimming for the high school swim team because I wanted a litter check because all the cool kids had one. And so, yeah, but that's why I took that break, and I wish I hadn't. But I needed it at that point.
You did. And, you know, who knows what would have happened? Maybe nothing would have happened.
Exactly.
But maybe something worse. You might have fallen into much darker times.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. And luckily, you're still here talking to us. Yes. But how many kids today, I mean, they play high school and club sports at the same time in too many states. I do not understand how that works. I don't get it. I mean, like, you know, Southern California, I'm sure there's a few other states, but I don't know all of them, obviously. I know Southern California, for example, when there is high school soccer season, the clubs cannot play. So for those 2 months, 2.5 months, whatever it is, there's a shutdown in club activities, which is great because at least it gives an opportunity to the kids to play high school if they want to.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, soccer is different than other sports like basketball, football, where high school is number one. Soccer, it isn't. But you still want to play with your friends from school. You still want to represent, your high school and your city, your community, whatever it is. I mean, it's fun to do that.
Yeah.
But like here in Las Vegas, nope, you play at the same time. And some of, boys and girls. And makes no sense, especially with the heat that we're playing with for 3-4 months out of the year. It's insane. I mean, I just looked at my high school girls' schedule. We play from August 22nd to October 22nd, 23rd, something like that. So for those, whatever it is, 2-3 months, we're playing 2 of those months are 100-degree weather every day.
Yeah. And it's dry as get out there. I was in New Mexico.
I mean, outside. I mean, football is the same problem, obviously, because football plays in the fall in Vegas too. So, I mean, football is the same thing.
Right.
I mean, it's not just a soccer problem, obviously. I mean, that's it. And we play, unlike football, we play 2 or 3 games a week.
Yeah.
With 100-degree weather. These are now professionals. This is not the NBA. I mean, this is outside 100 degrees, 15-year-old girls or boys. Boys, same schedule.
Right.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Who's thinking this thing? What person in the county, in the district, whatever, is thinking this? Are they actually thinking this through?
Why can't they change it, especially in Las Vegas? Because it's never actually cold there.
But even if it is cold, the cold is better than 105, 115. I mean, it's never cold to the level of a, Ohio or Alaska, obviously not.
Yeah.
But even when it is cold, but then you can play a game at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now we have to play games. Again, it goes back to the same problem. Now we're playing games at 6 o'clock at night. By the time we're done, it's 8:30. By the time they get home, it's 9:30, 10, depending on how far we have to travel. Back to the same problem. And a lot of these girls have practices with club or the boys, because again, same schedule. And now they're going to have to miss out on, and now it's going to have another psychological problems with them because, oh crap, now my club is going to get mad at me because I'm missing games or missing practices. And again, it's a vicious cycle. And it's like no one is thinking.
Can you talk to the school district since you coach for the school district?
That's one of the things we're trying to do. We're trying to create a pilot program for a couple of schools in town where we can put our stuff in and start to talk to them and see how we can help. But it's very close-minded, especially by the athletic directors of high schools. It's like they're not really working as athletic directors. They're working as babysitters. They just push papers and make extra few bucks to be an athletic director. Very few athletic directors give it to
About the kids, yeah.
And it's like I'm working with one of them. It makes no sense. It doesn't, because it's like if we're working one. It's like you want to work with people that understand, care about the kids, and you would hope, and you would think that in schools that's a good place, right? No.
How?
And it breaks my heart. And again, it goes back to the same thing. What are we doing? Are we supposed to help the kids? Why? It's not a red and blue thing or purple, orange, or whatever political denomination anyone is around the world. That's something that we can all agree, right? That we want to help our kids.
And it's almost like a lot of athletic directors are just looking for that next superstar. And
or the next paycheck.
Yeah.
Or worse.
You do have to keep the kids in mind, because that pressure is going to come down to the coaches, and the coaches, I mean, it all rolls downhill, right? So, yeah. Hey, Snowman. So, Brian Snow is one of our, he's been with us since the very beginning. So, Brian's awesome. I actually texted him, like, you need to tune in. You're going to like our show tonight. So, thanks for tuning in, Snowman. He's got a great platform too. But you just have to look out. But I think people get so caught up into their own egos, and they don't mean to be, because it's not saying just because you have an ego, you're a bad person, right? Because most
We
people
all
are
have
not.
an ego.
Thank you so much. But but you've got to think about other people. But I'm that person who, like, if I say something and I think it could be misinterpreted one way, then I'm like, oh, how do I explain this? So I totally get in my own head because I don't want to come across that way. But you've sometimes got to put other people first. And there are times when you have to put yourself first. But when you're dealing with kids' lives, because how many kids out there could be playing in 100-degree weather with a heart murmur or prone to a stroke or epilepsy, and they may not know yet, or millions of other weird ailments. But yeah, and I'm not saying those three are weird, but you know.
No, but you're right. And that's the thing that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, and then especially, you know, because if you're in one of those rich schools, it's one thing. But even then, I mean, that they're not immune to problems, obviously. Just because they have money doesn't mean that they don't have problems. They do. They just have a lot more money to fix them.
Right.
And parents have money to help their kids in a different way, even though that doesn't necessarily help them. But kids in not as rich areas, or parents who don't have that kind of money, or who don't even know where help is.
Yeah.
That's where the scary stuff can happen, because they
And
don't
that's
help
what
you.
the AD should be promoting. Hey, here's a foundation to help cover X, Y, and Z. Here's, you know, a grant for this. Here, you know, because let's face it, like U.S. schools, for some dumb reason, are pulling money out of arts and entertainment. Like, it sounds dumb, but the rest of the world does look to the United States for that. At least historically they have. And for some sports. So that's where we are the best at. And that they need to really encourage that. My mom was a guidance counselor. She's retired now. And so that's where I think, like, there's got to be foundations for X, Y, and Z. So because there's so many random scholarships, like there's scholarships for kids who are first generation college, going to college. So maybe there's a first generation soccer player scholarship somewhere.
But if you do that, you have to do extra work.
True. People are really lazy. It's really getting on my nerves.
Don't even get me started on that. But it's amazing to me when you talk to people, you say, oh, but that means I have to stay an extra 5 minutes a day. And I'm thinking, you're a teacher. You're not going to become a millionaire by being a teacher. So obviously you knew that before you started.
Right.
So why don't do it right? That's the stuff I cannot comprehend. I just cannot understand. Like, if you do certain things, you know, you're doing it in theory because you care. I mean, I'm sorry, you don't become a teacher just for the money, because it's not terrible, but it's not fantastic either.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the thing, right? So what are you doing it for? For the fact that you can get 2 months off a year? Really?
Right.
That's why you're doing it? That doesn't make any sense.
And it sucks that there are teachers like that, because I know, like, my mom, my mother-in-law, my friends who are in education, they actually care. Like, I have one girlfriend who's a teacher now, and I bet you she just got home from work. It's 8:05 Eastern Standard Time right now. I bet you she just got home from work in the last 30 minutes, because even though school's almost out, she was staying after work to tutor a kid or two. And like my friends, they specifically like to work in Title IX schools because that's where they feel most needed. So, and I admire them that do that. I truly do.
I mean, today one of my girls say, Coach, can we kick the ball around a little bit, please? And no problem.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then half hour later or something like that, she's like, okay, I'm good. Okay, let's go home.
Yeah.
I mean, she went home. I had to stay a little bit extra, but but
you were doing your job, and it's something you're passionate about.
There's no other way to me to do it. I mean, I wasn't able to coach these girls last year because I got sick. And now that I'm coaching them again, all these same girls are telling me, Coach, no one brought us water last year. You were the only one that brought us water. Water!
That's an ED's job. Make sure your kids are hydrated. I was a swimmer and they made sure we had water.
I had to buy water for my girls because no one was giving us water. They would lock the ice. And when finally I said, can I have the key to open the ice so I can get ice for the girls? Oh, well, it's for the football team. Okay, it's ice, not gold.
It's ice. It's free.
Ice.
Right.
I had to go buy ice. I had to go buy waters, Gatorades, because they wouldn't provide them.
I would like to talk to you for a minute after we end, because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but I have a few ideas for you.
Oh, nice. I like ideas. Always open to that. But yeah, but that's the thing, right? Let's do it for the kids. That's what we're all
So,
trying.
Joel, you said you have a movie coming out?
Yes.
I do have a movie. Not yet, but it's coming. Yes, it's coming. And it's a full documentary. It's 90 minutes, more or less. And it's, like I said, it's a movie about the culture and the culture change and how we need to listen to kids. But
it has some famous athletes in it, doesn't it? I'm just thinking like some of our audience might, that might help attract people too.
Luckily, yes, it has. We were lucky enough to get Tom Glavine to talk to us, the former baseball player, Hall of Fame pitcher. We have John Smoltz, who also talked to us. And the funny thing is they talked to us like so long ago. It was like during COVID. And we were so lucky and they're amazing. I mean, they're truly amazing people. Even off interview, like when I got a chance to actually chat with them, like as human beings, they're like really good human beings. We had like a few other people, but some of them unfortunately had to end on the cutting room floor because if not, it would have been a 3-day long movie. So we can't put everybody in there.
Right.
But yeah, it's we were lucky to have the two of them, and they were spectacular. So I hope they'll like the movie when it's done. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Do you forecast it coming out, any special time of year? Like, are we talking 6 months? Are we talking a year?
I don't know, because really we are that close.
Okay.
We just in between the last time you and I spoke, Candy, we had just finished, because it's documentary, it's a little bit harder to edit than a regular movie, fiction movie, because fiction, you have a script, it's like beginning, middle, end, more or less. Boom, boom, boom. Yep. More these things have to happen for the story to make sense. For a documentary, you're kind of having to put the pieces. Unless you're making a historic piece about the Roman Empire, Hitler, whatever.
Timeline.
Yeah, a timeline. It's very easy to this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. But what we're doing, there's no end. So we have to kind of structure it in a way that it gives us a beginning, middle, of an end, so that people can be satisfied when they watch it, while knowing that this is ongoing. So that took us a little bit of time to figure out how we wanted it to be. But now we do. We've been wanting for a bit, but then you need to start moving the pieces to make tell that story. So unfortunately, my editor has been doing 3 other jobs at the same time. So they pay him a lot more than I have been paying him. So he had to put us a little bit on the back burner, but and I'm so happy for him that he's working and doing well. But I have to wait for him a little bit. So once he can come back to us, we should be able to wrap that up. And then it depends on the distributor what they want to do. Our idea is to put them in festivals first, create a nice buzz. We also want to be able to tour with it. Go to schools, go to organization, go to different places, and have like Q&A with people, because again, it's about bringing everybody together and talk, have this conversation. Like the people that we have shown it so far, a dear friend of mine who knows almost everybody in the movie, except for Tom Glavine and John Smalls, who knows the kids in the movie, even almost all of them. I've been talking about this movie for years with him, and when he watched it, he called me 3 days later, say, "I still have questions. I gotta talk to you." I mean, that movie is still, and so that's what I'm hoping. We are hoping to achieve.
Mhm.
It's like we want people to ask questions, to feel like, oh, wait, am I like that? Or no, I would never do that. Or, oh my God, I am like that. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, but ask the question so that we can work together to make it better for the kids.
You're right there in Vegas. Have you thought about
I am.
reaching out to Mark Davis?
Yes, I have. To a lot of the pro teams in town, not just them. But I want the movie done before I do, because a lot of these, when we kind of try to talk to them, not just the Raiders or the Aces, but in general, there's a lot of, well, show us when it's done.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of, but you know how people are, they dismiss you if someone else is not saying it, it's popular. But no, we want to.
What strikes me is he's cares so much about his players on both the Aces and the Raiders, but specifically the Aces. Like, he even got in a little bit of trouble because he was giving all his girls endorsement deals. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? If they're legitimately doing it.
I don't understand what that was all about. Like, the girl, I think they have it up because their Aces have been winning and nobody wants the team to do well. There has no reason to. It's like, wait, everything was above board. Everybody knew about this. It was just an endorsement deal to help players who don't make as much money as the NBA players. No, apparently that's not good. I don't understand. But you're right, though. He does care for the Aces. And the Aces is one of the groups I really want to reach out to once we're a little bit closer to done. Because I think that those ladies on the team, those players, really care for the community as well. And they've been in the community. They care about it. They stay here. They don't just like, oh, I'm going to live in LA, but I come and play in Vegas. No, they stay here. Kind of like the Golden Knights. Same for the Golden Knights. People stay here. They really care about, I mean, the Golden Knights has been a love affair with the town since the unfortunate tragedy that happened years ago when the Golden Knights started, the whole 1 October disaster, horrendous event. But they are here. They live here. Raiders, not so much. But they also just started. We can't expect.
Well, and honestly, like, the most NFL players will go home and do like camps and things in their off season, but with the changes that the NFLPA and the NFL are making, I'm interested to see how that will impact the summer camps. But
we'll find out in a couple of years. That's where
you step in, Joel.
That's what we hope so, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to work with a lot of different people, and but we're in the, it's hard to break, to get to that first. We have a lot of bites, but so far people are still a little bit on the fence. But I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, we know this is a long-term thing for us. This is not something, oh, let's do it for a year and then, okay, let's do something else. No. With myself, Elaine, our other partner, Reed Mulby, we're doing this because we care. We're doing this because we want to do something. We see the problems and we want to change it. So we're not here just for the 5-minute thing.
Right. Well, Joel, Candy has to go over to her other shows.
Do.
We would love to have you back on again. Would you be willing to come back on? Like, especially like our co-host Megan is very involved in the WNBA. Carrie has some connections of her own as well. But we would love to have you back on. Would that be possible?
Absolutely, please, anytime.
Okay,
And hopefully, maybe we can bring my partners in too, so
Yes.
they can.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
we
hopefully, we
did.
can do that too.
I actually went on site 2 or 3 weeks ago for somebody who to their show. I can't come on site to you guys because I'm in North Carolina, so you know. But my brother-in-law lives near you. So
There you go.
well, everybody, if y'all have any questions or have anything topics you want us to discuss, I know like actually baseball's been really hopping lately, but let us know. Candy, Megan, Carrie, myself, let us know if you guys want to talk about anything. If you have any questions about how to get in touch with Joel, he's going to tell you right now, and then we'll also put it on our Facebook page as well.
Yes, so thank you. Obviously, the website is number one, and you can always find us at Twitter or X at Doc Youth Sports, and Instagram, The Real WOCP, and Facebook too. It's Doc Youth Sports.
Okay. Candy, are you friends with him on Facebook?
I know we have his link up on our site, and we've had him on our show. So yeah,
Okay.
we'll get.
I'll find it and I'll join you, and then I'll link you on our Facebook page too.
Sounds
Great.
good. Thank you, Joel.
Thank
We
you,
really appreciate
guys.
you coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was my pleasure.
And everybody head on over to the South Florida Tribune to see more of our lovely Candy.
Thanks.
And that guy, Scott, she's married to.
We'll see you guys.
Bye,
Have a
y'all.